Hi, my name is Christina, and I am here with Markku Kauppinen, my colleague and president of Extended Disc. I'm the training director here. Hi, Markku.
Hi, Christina. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So today we'll be doing another very quick 15-minute mini webinar as part of our sales capacity assessment suite. There's a little typo there I left off. Team, so sorry. But we'll be focusing specifically on a sales theory report. Now, this is one we haven't talked about before, but we'll highlight it, and hopefully you will know that it's yet another report that you have in your SCA suite of tools, which Sales Capacity Assessment Suite, we'll be calling it SCA from this point on. We will be recording this webinar, so if you miss any of it, you come later, you want to share it later on, you'll be able to find it on our YouTube channel, Extended Disc North America, or you can find it on our extendeddisc.org website. Questions and answers. We love your questions and answers. Please put them in the Q&A section. However, if we aren't able to get to them live, I promise you we will follow up after the session today. So, all right, Markku. So this is probably one of the last reports we haven't touched upon. And for those of you that may have missed some of the many reports that we have talked about, you can go back and find those recordings as well. So talk a little bit about the Sales Capacity Assessment Suite, SCA suite of tools. Kind of where does this report fall into it?
Well, the first thing I think everybody should know that it's not based on the disc theory or model. This is a tool that we created a couple of years ago, and over time it really expanded to this suite of assessments, 13 individual, 5 or 6 team tools. But the idea is that they are still connected to our disc theory-based tools. So this is a different questionnaire that is designed specifically for salespeople who are currently selling. Also, the good news is that it's on the same platform as all of our assessments. We call it the Things platform. So you're able to manage all of your data in one place 24/7. You can create different kinds of reports. And just like with our disc assessments, there's only one questionnaire. So once a candidate or a existing salesperson completes the questionnaire one time, you are able to create all of these different reports without one asking the person to complete another questionnaire. But probably more importantly as well, you don't have to pay for these different kinds of reports. So the idea really is to have lots of options for different situations and unique clients' needs. Like the one tool we're going to talk about today, it's a very concise report. Some people use that tool quite extensively, while others find, okay, I need some more information. So the idea there is that everything is very intuitive. You have a lot of options. And kind of if you think of your sales cycle, if your sales professionals from being candidates to sales team members and looking at the sales team, everything is included. So you don't have to go and hunt for different assessments and trying to learn different concepts and models. So that's basically how the SCA suite works. And as you said, Christina, we talked about many different ones over the last few months. So if you like to learn more, just go to our YouTube channel or our website, and you will learn a lot more what's available out there.
Yeah, since we launched this, Markku, we have had such incredible feedback on the development report, and then the hiring report came out. And, so the reports kept coming out, right? And, people were like, they were really, they found it very intuitive to use the reports that came out. But now we just wanted to share different reports that actually give our clients more flexibility. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we're sharing every report. So this particular report, sometimes when we think of the word theory, we kind of roll our eyes a little like, oh my gosh, I don't want to think about theory. I mean, how does theory have anything to do with, day-to-day operations? So Markku, what is the value of the sales theory, and why would we find it useful as a report?
Really what happened, Christina, is that this section, if you will, is included in some of the other reports that we have talked about and is included in the suite. But some clients told us that, hey, I really like this section, but I don't need all of the other part. I want to look at this section at different times with different salespeople. So why don't we actually just break it off into an own report? Because when I look at this assessment report, I see it's kind of like a two-sided thing. One is that we are able to identify where the current competencies of a salesperson, how do they fall in these three different areas in terms of understanding how good they are dealing with different types of prospect needs, looking at how they perform with a short versus long sales cycle, and also in terms of the ongoing relationship after they close the initial deal. The feedback I get most frequently is that, especially from sales managers, VPs of sales, a lot of sales trainers say that we really never looked at our sales roles and our sales professionals from these different aspects. And they really opened their eyes in terms of understanding of what do we really need, especially when it comes to, when it comes to the need and the relationship. I think most sales managers and trainers have a pretty good idea about the sales cycle, whether it's short or long. But when it comes to need, latent need versus expressed need, that, for example, a lot of times I hear that we never really thought about it. And of course, the difference there is that expressed need means that the prospect understands that I have a need for this product or service that the salesperson has to offer. The latent need is the one that the prospect really haven't even considered that they might need this valuable product or service that a salesperson is trying to understand if there might be a fit between their offering and what the client, where they are right now in their business. I think that's the one that we have found where most interest actually comes out of these three. And the last one, the relationship. Sometimes when we are thinking about salespeople, we are really focusing on, can they prospect and can they make great presentation and can they close the deal? But we often overlook that there's actually a lot more business opportunities after that initial sale. So again, the feedback has been very consistent about this is another way to look at our salespeople, look at our sales process, and how do we make better decisions in looking at job candidates for sales roles and developing our existing sales professionals and our sales teams.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of this sales theory is that it's not so concrete that it limits us. Basically, when we talk about a short-term relationship versus a long relationship, that's not predetermined by the report or by the tool. That's something that you as the interpreter or the user of the report determines for yourself. What is a short relationship? What is a long relationship? What's a short sales cycle? What's a long sales cycle? Is that right, Markku?
That is right, but especially with sales cycle, for example, excuse me, obviously if it's a situation where you are selling a product or service and it's a one call type of a world. In other words, you make the initial call and at the end of that call, whether it's through a Zoom call or we used to do face-to-face meetings. After that call, the prospect is going to tell you yes or no. Well, that is a short sales cycle. Now, when we start looking at long sales cycle, what our clients are really doing is they are putting it in the context of their product and service, what they are selling. So for example, if you're selling a product that may cost a business client $100,000, well, that typically might be a little bit more longer sales process. It may involve a few sales calls, even a dozen sales calls. But if you are selling a product that we're talking about tens of millions, that might be a much longer sales cycle. So we have to understand that we need to define it in the terms of what we are selling and offering to our prospects. So there's no one kind of cutoff point that after three calls, it's a long versus short versus a long sales cycle, but our customers know it. But I think the most important thing is that they begin to think about this. What is long sales cycle for us? What is the kind of sales cycle that we want to achieve? And that's the one side of this particular report that I get a lot of good feedback from. And the second thing is that.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Krista.
No, I was just saying you said it the way I wanted to say it, but didn't. So that's all.
No. The relationship part is one of those things that as salespeople and VPs of sales and sales manager, we want that sale so much. You know, what's in the pipeline, how much is going to close on this pipeline. But like I said earlier, a lot of it's really what happens after the initial sale. In many situations, the business really start after the initial sale. A lot of times, new customers really just testing what you have to offer. What kind of a supplier is this company? Can we trust them? Do we like working with them? Are we happy with the service? A lot of times a salesperson plays a really critical part in that. And often that's not even being considered.
Exactly. So I know you guys are here for the report, so I promise we'll show you a page. But what's great about it is a single page. It's for one individual. And like with all the SCA tools, the reports themselves, they are clearly defined. There's, again, no guessing, you know, what is a latent need versus an expressed need. Now, there's that flexibility that Markku talked about. You determine, you know, what is a short relationship or a long relationship, or how many phone calls you need to make. And once you determine that, it makes it very easy for you to interpret the results. So I'm going to ask Markku kind of to talk about each one very quickly. And these are, again, results for one individual.
Yeah, one individual, and as I can remind that in some of other reports, they include this section. So if you think, well, this is not a lot of information, there are a lot of other options if you want more information. But for many clients, this is what they want at a specific time for specific salespeople. So again, going to the need, latent need, again, means that the prospect simply is not aware that there is a need for something like this. I always think about in terms of SEO, search engine optimization. You know, I understand how important that is now, but there was a time that I didn't know what that was. There was definitely a need for our organization to have that, but I simply didn't know that that's something that we need. So that would be example of a latent need. Sales cycle, again, you really should have that conversation internally, or maybe you have a sales trainer or coach or consultant who works with you, and you begin to look at what is short or what is a long sales cycle in our industry, or the kind of product or service we offer. And again, that last part that we touched upon already is that how important is the relationship after the sale? Some salespeople, they're able to delegate the servicing of the relationship to somebody else, and it may not be a factor. But in many situations, it's actually a critical part of it. So for like this individual, if I look at these three, they are good in situation when the prospect is not aware of the sale. They probably find that kind of a situation actually motivating, because they need to really discover what the prospect situation is, and whether they may or may not be a fit between their product and service and their client situation. This person is pretty even with the short or long sales cycle, a little bit more comfortable getting those quick results. And if you look at, which is kind of consistent when you look at the relationship, they really are not as comfortable with that ongoing relationship maintenance. They may want to or may need somebody to really help them out to make sure that you really expand that relationship wider and deeper with the new customer.
Yeah, I think what's so powerful about all these reports is they're all connected. So, you know, you get kind of very broad overview for this particular individual in this report. And if you determine, you know, again, do I want to develop the competences or, you know, in this individual, there's other reports that have additional information to help you do that. So it's not a standalone report in that you don't have access to a lot more information should you need it.
That's a great point, and I know we're running almost out of time here, but for example, if you want to find out why they are not as good with the express need versus latent need, then you can drill down to the other parts of the report, look at their specific 18 competencies, look at their sales mindsets, look at the excuse level. So you can really just dive deeper and find the information when you need it, rather than having to take the information at one time. This report may not be for everyone. The news or the feel, if you will, has been that this is a great way to get a different look at our sales team, our sales professionals, so we can make better decisions in hiring, develop them, and taking our sales team to the next level.
That is a great way to summarize it and end our webinar for today. Thank you, Marku. Tomorrow, for those of you that just kind of want a quick update and refresher on how to understand the extended disc diamond, this is the webinar for you. It'll be at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. Next Tuesday, we'll be focused on the one of the first reports that we came out, and probably, I would say very well used report, and that's the development report, the SCA development report, and that will be Tuesday, October 20th at 2 p.m. If they want to learn more about the report or about upcoming webinars, Marku, what should they do?
Go to extendeddisk.org. When you get to the home page, go to the top right-hand corner. You see tab called Events. Click on there. You see all of the upcoming webinars. And please register, even if you can't make the date and time, because we will send you a recording after the webinar.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us today, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.